continuing on with our story for the week. No, yeah, I don't know. I had the week before I had the back problems and just kind of really started pulling me down. And honestly, this week I just stopped. I just stopped everything. And it was basically to the point of giving up and just saying I'm done. And it was hard, and it's been very tough. And like I said, I almost completely walked, and I didn't. I'm here, so that's a good thing, and that's shows me a lot about myself that I didn't do. I kind of pulled out of a habit, because that used to be my habit, was completely walk away and just be done, and I didn't do it. So that's a good thing. So there is a positive of it, but
no, it is a really good thing. Hey, listen, bud, there are times, we just get overwhelmed. We have to pull away, and we have to just sit on the couch, breathe. We don't know why. We want to make sure that during those times we don't hurt ourselves more than we're already hurting, right? That's one of the things. We want to make sure that we try really hard not to pull up those things we learned years ago that we think is comfort, right? Comfort food, often not so much. Comfort in not moving, often not so healthy, right? But what we're really looking at with you guys is the improvement on how resilient you are, how quickly you bounce back. So if before you would go into a 2, 3, 4 week binge or a depression mode or a give up for 6 months, what we're looking for now is how quickly do you respond and get back on track? Is it 3 days? Is it still 10 days? Do you have to phone a friend? So, I knew where you were headed. I have to kind of let you have a breakdown to have a breakthrough. You are here. I knew you would be here. To let you guys know, I have been pushing these guys. I've been saying that all season. And Troy didn't meet a lot of his commitments. I have things that I like to put together. I need to put together for each show. And I've been pushing these guys. And he's been Johnny on the spot for the whole season. And he's been avoiding me. And I've had to reach out and reach out. And even today, right up to the show, about 15 minutes before the show, and Troy is more like you guys out there than not. That's the only reason why I'm beating a dead horse right now. You guys, it's easy to give up. But just keep fucking going, one step at a time. So thank you for putting your ass in the seat, because one of my sayings has always been, I would just give me a warm seat. Just sit in the seat, say nothing, and give me a warm seat, because a cold seat, you'll learn nothing. If you just sit and listen, you'll walk away with something about yourself or something I've said or whatever. So thanks for showing up, Troy. Hell yeah. You're not even going to get a bullshit button. That's how awesome you are. What do you guys think, gals? Faith, what do you think about Mr. Troy here?
It's really good to see you, Troy. Always worried about you because you've been quiet. And I know how easy it is to give up. And I've got a lot of respect for you that you're here.
Thanks.
Rita, what about you? What are your thoughts towards Troy?
I can relate to how he says, he's like, he can be done. I've been there years ago. But I'm really glad you're back, Troy. I'm glad you showed up today. We did miss you. And I apologize, because I should have been a better teammate, poked at you a little bit more during the week. When I noticed that, you've been on silent mode. So I do apologize, but I have been thinking about you.
I always ask teammates how they feel about people instead of just calling them out. I think it's important, even in sports teams, for anybody out there who coaches, it's important to ask how other people feel, because we're all learning, right? It's not just to call Troy out. But a couple of things that just came out. So Rita is saying, hey, I knew you were struggling, bud, and I should have reached out, okay? People who even try to commit suicide have no idea people care about them. We should just reach out when we're thinking about them. So as buddies in this series right now, as castmates, mental note that, hey, when I'm thinking about somebody, let's reach out. So awesome point, Rita. And then, you know what, Faith? Yeah, you've noticed that he was struggling. And what I want to bring to the attention of that is that you noticed somebody else's behavior traits, right? And you guys were able to quit, recognize that you've wanted to quit before too. So we're a team, we're family, Troy. And guess what? Roller coaster life, shit's going to happen. And it could be Rita next month. It was me a couple weeks ago. It's totally fine. We love you, bud. Thanks for showing up. Oh, Jesus is shining on the light on me. Look at that. You never know I lived in Florida. You think I freaking you think I was in Ireland, Faith? Not the right accent, but all right, this last week, let's get caught. It was sucking. I don't know where that was from. I think it was Australia. Was that? Oh, I don't know. Where is this accent from, Faith, when we have eat some porridge in the loo? No, we can't eat porridge in the loo. Okay, let's just drop it. Let's just Frankie on out of here. All right. Okay. This last week, we had some really cool homework to do. We had a lot of exclusions that you guys kind of weren't too excited about. Rita's still not excited about it, as you can see. The wellness logs, I had you guys take a look at 3 wellness logs, and quite a few things fell out of that I expected would fall out of that. I just want to do a quick kind of summary, and if Troy had gotten me his goddamn logs, I would have looked at his too. Big hugs, no kisses. So a couple of things that fell out in those. As you guys know, the wellness log, you guys can go back who are watching, look at some previous shows. The wellness log has all sorts of data points. How much do you sleep? How much water do you drink? Exclusions and inclusions on experiments, food, macros, wellness grades, emotions, all sorts of things. So I had these guys go back, fill them out all the way to the best of their ability and look at a few days. Why are there maybe emotions there? We were able to look a little bit at Rita's and go, well, maybe eating 980 calories a day might make you a little cranky. You know?
Who knew?
Yeah, who knew?
Who knew?
Which can affect sleep, which can affect even someone saying, and Rita didn't say this, but what if she said, you know, I'm sick of my job, or argue with a friend, and you can really pinpoint it down to, hey, we're looking at calories. One of the hints I said to Rita is we need to open up those eating windows. She had them pretty buttoned closely. I wanted her to start eating sooner and eating a little bit later. I want her to lessen her portion sizes because she's getting full too fast. For some of you, you may need to reduce drinking water a little bit and add a protein smoothie in there with lots of kale or spinach, which you can't taste, in order to have a caloric, drink, but to reduce some of those other drinks. You know, when we were looking at Faith's, we saw maybe some artificial sugars are creeping back in, and maybe there were some headaches caused from, that stuff. The point is with these logs, and when you do them, Troy, I'll look at them too. No, I'm just picking on you. But honestly, the thing is that things do fall out of those. My point with you guys is to once in a while in the future, do them again. If you can grab 3 or 4 days in 1 week, one of the days being a weekend, you're going to see a bunch of stuff fall out of that. All right, let's talk about the inclusions and exclusions this week. One of the inclusions was I wanted you to use small bones, because small bones are just like small bowls. Use your small bones, small bowls, small plates, because we wanted to reduce portion sizes, right? Makes sense? Does that make sense? And also for you guys to maybe slow down, because slapping salad all over the place. Faith's like, yup. Because when you eat and it makes you more diverse too, because eating a big old tossed salad is kind of a little bit hard in those smaller bowls, right? And then we went to there's 2 actual exclusions this week. We didn't use a spoon. So what were the thoughts around that? Troy, even if you didn't not use a spoon, why do you think I took away the spoon?
I did kind of start the week out on a good note, kind of doing those things, but you can't shovel stuff in with a spoon. You think, I don't know, it's just a different style of eating. And honestly, I really don't use a spoon except for yogurt, and
except for shoveling things.
I don't eat porridge. Yeah, except for shoveling yogurt in.
Especially in the loo.
So that wasn't that big of a deal. And you can cut a really nice big T-bone up into little pieces and stack it really high on a small plate, just so you know. I'm just kidding.
Very good point, though.
I'm kidding. So yeah, no, I totally get the portion size. I totally get the spoon thing. It wasn't a surprise why.
And it forces you to be, it really forces you to be diverse. Like you said, if somebody is really used to eating cottage cheese for their snack, or yogurt for their snack, or oatmeal, it just, so play with this once in a while in the future. Just go, okay, I'm going to force myself to be. And I like to have you kind of think about the knife, the fork, and the spoon kind of metaphorically with me for a second. So when you look at a knife has a very specific job. other than killing people. Let's stay away from that. A knife has a very specific job. You know, it cuts through something, cuts through the bullshit, cuts through something. You have to be careful, you know, purposeful. So when you use a knife for your food, we know what it's for. You can also metaphorically use that for life, for your wellness, for relationships. You can use your knife to be purposeful, carve things out. So think about the knife in your life. With a fork, it's kind of the same thing with eating. It's very intentional. It's harder to pick up a grape sometimes with a fork than it is with a spoon, right? You're going to use your fork for very specific things. You're going to be more intentional, and your portion control is going to be smaller. Chopsticks, we talked about that last week. I mean, Troy, you're really good with chopsticks, but it is going to slow you down. I do have clients, I do chopstick week. It really does slow you down. And then with spoons, it's exactly that, you guys. Everything that you just said. So you can always play with these things, right? Eating doesn't have to be like all about horrible black and white rules. The other thing we excluded made you so happy. We took away the music this week. Oh, you guys are so mad. I will be surprised if you guys abided by this the whole week. Rita, I know you guys play music at work and a couple of things like your car popped on some music, but how did you do?
Surprisingly well, a lot better than what I thought because, okay, ever since I was a teenager, that's the first thing that went on in my car when I get in. Before I even started the car, you turn on that radio. But with the car I have now, once, you know, I hit the start, it pops on. So like I was telling you, I think like halfway to work, I'm like, the radio's on, you know, and I popped it off, but I was like, oh, you know, so I had to remember that like the first 2-3 days going to work. But and then like I said, when my boss is in the office, he has his radio that he plays. So, yeah. I mean, I could have told him,
hey, buddy,
no music, man, no music, but yeah.
No, that's okay. What about you, Faith? What were your thoughts?
My car is similar to Rita's and it comes on automatically. So a couple of times I sort of got halfway through a song and I realized I had to turn it off. But it didn't bother me so much not having music because it's more, I guess, something I put on an evening time or if I was a bit bored. So it was more, I became more aware that I was singing more or humming or sort of just dancing to my own tune. Rather than having music
were you walking around singing My Sharona all week? Troy, how did you do?
Well, let's talk about this because no.
Well, you're on the road a lot, so I knew it was going to be tough.
Yeah, well, and not only that, music is very integral in my life. I sleep to music, I work with music on, I drive with music on. Music is in my life literally pretty much every hour that I'm awake or sleeping. It really, honestly, it was a struggle and a half, and I will be honest, and I didn't do the greatest on part of it because I had 3 very long days on the road this week. And I did learn that podcasts will put you to sleep if you're not careful.
Right.
So there were times that it was just like, okay, I got to have 5 minutes here. And it just kind of, yeah, it was a struggle. It was a very big struggle.
Why do you think I did it?
Because you're mean and I'm just kidding.
Oh, the bitch is bad. What can I do? What can I beat myself up?
No, diversity. I mean, really force us to look at other things and use that time for, reflection or thought or whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. I bet you're not used to having a still mind.
No.
In kind of stopping and smelling the roses kind of thing. Because when the music's not going, you're all of a sudden thinking about, I haven't called John before. Or you're walking and you're like, well, I haven't noticed that flower before. Or you're like, oh, hey, my back hurts a little bit. I should stretch tonight. Right? We have less body awareness when our mind is always busy with music, when we feel agitated or different emotions. What do? Turn on the music. Turn on the music. When we want to work out, we turn it on. We want to clean the house, we turn it on. We want to dance, we turn it on. Work, we turn it on. So it was really just to kind of still the mind, which no one likes until you learn to like it. We go kicking and screaming in timeout at 2 years old. Go to your room. Why do we hate it? because it's quiet and we have to get in our own mind and entertain ourselves. Troy doesn't like to entertain himself.
I like quiet, just not, it's there's certain times that I like quiet, and it was different to try to look at it in a different perspective. So it was difficult.
It would be just like Faith in her walking that I'll never forget. If I said, Troy, I want you to play music all week, and you'd be like, I don't like music. Okay, Troy, I don't want you to play music at all this week. Well, I want to play music. We are human beings. We are just, I know. I love behavior. All right, let's move on, because today is my favorite, really my favorite content, because it all loops back together for you guys. So let's finish up talking about some of the other commitments from last week, and then we're going to move on. So we had 3 other things I kind of want to talk about. On exercise, I gave you guys a kickboxing, something a little different you haven't done before, video I wanted you to do 3 times this week that would take away from the 200 minutes that I assigned. So 90 minutes out of 200. Thank you, Faith, who knows math better than I do. And she course corrected me. So Rita, you said you liked kickboxing, and then Faith, you've done it before, but Rita, is that something you'd keep in your hip pocket to try again?
Yes, and I did it. God, it's been years and years and years ago when I was at a different gym. So I mean, I loved it, and then of course, as I moved on to different gym day, that was kind of the thing of the past. They didn't offer it anymore. So I really had fun with it. And like I said, I ended up doing it 4 times this week. So I had a blast. And yes, I will keep this in my pocket for future reference.
That's
something
good.
to fall back on.
Good job. How about you, Faith? What did you do for your other 200 minutes your other 110 minutes? Look at me, Faith.
Well, I did the kickboxing 4 times. I also did the Dirty Dancing DVD that I've got, and a hip hop dance DVD.
Where can he go? Kitty's now Dirty Dancing. She's just, she did our audits, cleaned out the bedroom. Gosh, Faith, she quit vaping. Oh. Kitty mama. Here we go. Troy, why would you not want to show up to this shit? You know what I'm saying? Oh,
I'm here, aren't I? I'm here. Yeah.
Let's put some Baileys in the coffee of the coach who doesn't even drink. Okay.
Some more?
Exactly. Oh, I have a family member that puts Baileys in his coffee every single day. And I'm like, isn't that a problem? And he's like, no. I'm like, not with me. I'm like, okay. Okay, good job. All right, a couple more things. 3 dirty dozen. So I assigned the dirty dozen so that you would have about 12 different things that you could fall back on, which is kind of like the week Troy had. Let's use Troy for a quick example. Mental muscle was tired. He'd hurt his back. We're 9 weeks at that time when he was getting frustrated into, a 10-week series. Not a huge social circle around him that's going to knock on the door. The dirty dozen is for those times where you can't think about something creative. You're bored with your exercise, bored with your self-care, bored with your nutrition, that you can just kind of open it up and go, what's one thing that maybe I can do? Freaking just one ass thing. And so that's what I had you guys create this week. Now there's somebody in the room who comes back and says, you guys know who it is. So why'd you pick dirty dozen? Would you name it like, what's the dirty? What's the dozen? And I'm like, hey, because I want. Do you have any other time of day, Dolphin, that you could think about? Dozen eggs, dozen donuts, I don't care. It's the dirty dozen. Oh, she's so cute. All right. So Troy, conceptually, does that make sense to have the dirty dozen?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
No, it does. I like the concept.
Did you do anything? Did you pick?
I know I didn't do anything. I'm not saying
Did you
that.
pick a dirty 1, 2, or 3?
I really didn't. I started to at the beginning of the week, and it just, like I said, it was a struggle.
But can you see maybe like, okay, with your back, let's say with exercise, because it's like, what can you do versus what can't you do? If you could think about, and I mean, yours is your back, but if you had on there, for instance, shoot hoops, you might be able to go, gosh, I'm tired of going to the gym, or I'm tired of these things,
Right.
but right. Rita, what about you when you did the Dirty Dozens? What came out of it for you?
Creativity for one, which is something I swear I am not creative by any means. But I took some time to kind of look back, like at the beginning, things that I used to do as a kid or things that I wanted to do as an adult. So like, for instance, like the self-care and exercise. Tai Chi is something that I've always wanted to do. So I'm like, that's totally something different that I can fall back on and say, when I'm bored with all this other stuff I'm doing, this is something new I can try.
There are so many amazing videos out there, Tai Chi. Seriously, that's something I've thought about too. That's a really good point. What else did you slap onto your nutrition Dirty Dozen? Did anything roll out with that?
One of them, you're probably going to laugh at this, is going to be tofu, to try it, because I never did during our experiment, but I reached out to my sister because she has it, quite a bit. I said, next time that you cook this, let me know so I can come over and try a piece. She's like, definitely.
That's great. Good job. That is a perfect example. That's really good. Okay. What about you, Faith? Any examples of either of those three you'd like to, maybe one from each of those you'd like to share?
There's a lot of things I want to try. And I think sort of I've not, over the last sort of few years, I've not done anything, but it made me actually sit down and start to list all the things that I've always wanted to try and I've just almost forgotten about. So it was quite exciting. I got a bit carried away. I've almost got more than 12 by the end of it, but it's quite fun.
No. You're already 3,018. That's awesome, though. No, that's really good. Don't get so carried away with it that you end up being disorganized with it. Where's that list of 4,000? What's something that you might try on the, let's say, the exercise piece that you haven't done? She's going to pull out her binder that's laminated, alphabetized by color.
I want to do a skydive. I want to do an indoor and an outdoor one. So
wow.
Yeah, I've done a parachute jump, but I've always wanted to do a skydive. So
who are you? This is great. No, that's fantastic. What's something on your self-care? They all kind of end up being kind of self-care. See, she's flipping. Swear to God. Sure. Yes.
I've always wanted to make a pot, like sort of in the Ghost, Patrick Swayze style. So I'm looking to try and find somewhere I can do a course to do that, because it's something all my life I've wanted to try it. So.
Oh my gosh, this is really great. Fun. I'm not even going to get silly on this with your little outfit or anything. Could get you a little pottery machine. That is amazing. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I'm going to end up teasing you out on all of those. You guys, I have joked before. Coach Peggy Real Time Dating Series. I could. The newlywed game. So excited. All right, one more thing. The positive path, you guys. Rita, I asked you if maybe you could think about a suggestion or a strategy if maybe you were to decrease somebody in your life that we might want to not spend as much time with. When we did the positive path audit, we were taking a look if in one of those categories that you're already struggling a little bit, or maybe even if you're doing really well and somebody's trying to bring you down, what might be an idea that you would do to decrease some time with peeps you normally hang out with or around you?
I would ghost them. Silent mode. Cut them off.
That's such a left brain thing. Delete.
Yeah, ignore. Hit that ignore button. Delete.
Yeah, that doesn't affect your mindset or your heart chakra at all. Yeah. Some cases you have to do that, though. I get that. What about you, Faith? I asked you to think about increasing time. What would you do to increase?
I've thought about a couple of ways. I want to start doing more gym classes. Just try and sort of meet some people, see what other classes they do, if there's anything in the area. I also want to start going to an art class. Just try and find something locally. Try and find some like-minded people.
Wow,
I think
that's awesome. I notice on all of the recordings that we do, I say, oh, that's awesome. And that's amazing a lot. But I don't really know what else to say except that's awesome and that's amazing. All right, so now we're going to go into this week's content and it's going to just wrap it all together. I'm really excited about it. It is kind of an end process, even though if I were coaching you, it's not like the end, but it's a nice way to tie up this series and have you really understand why I took you through all of these tools kind of in a succinct, orderly fashion to bring it all to the place we are today. So this is the All Things Wellness GPS. So it's a GPS just like in your vehicle where you actually get in there and make a decision, you program it, and it takes you somewhere. And sometimes it takes you directly there. Sometimes there's a detour. Sometimes there's a dead end. But if you really do want to get there, you will eventually get there. And you're going to calculate how much time and you want to go with you and all that shit. So this is going to tie together everything from when we talk about your baselines, your tests, through your family wellness history and habits, through your 168, through all of that, wellness logs and everything. So are you really excited? Yes, you are. All right, when I asked you guys where this week, I asked you, where would you want to go and what mode of transportation would you want to take? Totally setting you up for this show. So Troy stated that in the way that a client answers this question, where they want to go, how with their mode of transportation, I can tell you exactly where they are in their goal setting and their success rate. And I can ask it, like if I'm working with somebody 3 months in, a year in, 2 days, I can figure out exactly where they are. So now you know where you're headed. So Troy wants to go to a log cabin in the Canadian Rockies via snowmobile, take lots of supplies. This is during the winter and go off grid. So pretty specific, kind of knows what he's bringing, where he's going. Didn't necessarily say when he's leaving, but winter could literally imply that it's this winter. Okay, this is great. Okay. Rita's like, well, I'm going to go to Tuscany. I'm going to go to Italy. I'm going to roam around. How do you want to get there, Rita? Well, I just pretty much want to click my heels. Okay, that, no problem. I just left it at that because I thought that was going to be awesome to explain Rita today. And then we go to this. Please do keep all of your laughter in the audience until the end of this paragraph is read. Faith. I would like to go to the island of Zanzibar. I would travel in first-class jet to Africa and parachute out to land directly into the hotel, which is a little elaborate. So I realized that I'm going to need luggage. So after jetting to the land in Africa, I'm going to chauffeur to the port of Cruz on a yacht over to the secluded island. Great job. I was very proud of you guys. And now I want you to think about your SAMS 10. I want you to think about your love language and your chronotype and your left brain, right brain, and your learning styles and your habit attack, whether you are crawl, walk, run, whether you are habitual or passionate or emotional or a teacher's pet or a pleaser or a toddler. Think about all that. Troy, where are you going? I'm going to Canada, taking a lot of supplies. Want to be there a while. Okay. Rita, going all the way to Italy across the water, going to click my heels. How fast Rita's going to get to her goal, right? Don't know what I'm going to need. I have no idea how long it's going to take to get. I have no idea if I need clothes or not, but I'm just going to go.
I'll buy them all when I get there, and I'll get there when I get there.
Very well. Absolutely. Faith has done Faith. Faith's done a great job. Okay. So all of this stuff, we're going to go through. I'm going to go back through. I'm going to go through the Wellness GPS document. It looks complex, but again, I want you to think just like the beginning when you first saw the SAMS 10. You've done all the work. You've done all this work. You're just going to see how it all ties together. Okay, so don't freak out about any of it. And we're going to take you all the way through it. And I want you to still think about your habit history, the way you set goals, the way, whether you achieve them, whether you don't, whether you take off running. You're going to show up right now in what you told me. And yeah, here we go. All right, let's put your box over here. Oh, look how cute we are. Let's see. How do we look like that? Oh, we look the same. We always do. Okay. All right, this document's lengthy. You guys are going to get it. You'll be able to read through all of it. Mostly, it's just explaining to you conceptually what the GPS is. When you're figuring out, I want to highlight right here, when you're figuring out your health and wellness goal, it's just as complex as a trip. Okay, this is what I asked you to do. Where is your destination? When are you going? What are you bringing? Are you going to get it there? Who is going with you? When are you coming back? All of those things that you would do for a trip is exactly what you're going to do in this GPS. But I'm going to use the wheel a little bit differently. Okay? So we have to figure out where you are currently. You're going to do that this week for me. You're going to go ahead and do your baseline measurements again. You have already got all of your test results. You know exactly where you are. We're going to get that all figured out again. Then I want you to, I'm going to go through this document. You're going to look at the definitions of each of the quadrants again. You're going to redo your wheel. We're going to connect them, and you're going to go to a destination. So here we go. All right. On this document, before you come down to the very bottom to dial in your GPS, I'm giving you guys how I set up my wheel. So the 4 spokes, heart, spirit, and then mind and body, those 4 quadrants are your 4 cities. So those are the 4 cities that you're going to be traveling through for this GPS. The 8 spokes, if you look at the red, these are the spokes right here, the 16 spokes. You'll see all of these are part of your quadrants. This is already part of the wheel. This isn't made up. This part here is just to help you really understand as you put your spokes, the nail in your spokes, really what I meant when I designed this stuff, just to give you a better idea. And I've just got some short quips I put in there just when I was trademarking the wheel. So that's just to refresh you of the definitions of those spokes. And now we're going to start the trip. So obviously your name and date. Right here, you're going to decide where you want to go. So bear with me. Rita's was Italy. Faith was Zanzibar, which is a country I would have to look up. I guess it's an island. Troy's headed to Canada. Troy doesn't even know what city. He's just going north. Up there to the Canadian Rockies, right? Think about your goals right now as I go through this, you guys. How specific it was or not when you think of Sam's 10, okay? And then the streets are each of these spokes. So you've got city, 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 4 cities. You are right here, and we got to get you here. Here we go. And then all of these are your roads or streets that you need to get through. Remember, with the GPS, you could have a detour. You could have a dead end. That's what you guys are going to determine that you have. Hold on again. When you do this wheel and you're going to go back around, it's going to be just like the first time you ever did the wheel. And you're going to do this because we're coming up at the end of the series. So you're going to go through, and Rita might go, okay, values and integrity, they're a little higher than they were before. Awesome. There's a dot. Self-care is better. Oh my God, there's the dot. There's relationships are better. And you're going to connect them just like you did before in your previous wheels. Okay. When you get down here, this white bar is like a 4. So if this was a 0 and this was a 10, this is like a 4. The goal is I want all of you guys to have your dots, your spokes, your nails outside of that, so you can go faster in your wellness wagon. It's the ones that are under it we're going to pay attention on figuring out how to improve. So you're going to go through your wheel, find out where the issues are. Okay? The streets with the issues that are below 4, you're going to just list them right here. So it might be, Troy's might be like mindset. Oh boy, man, I might have a dead end there. Nutrition, dead end. What's your destination? Your destination is your 6-month goal. Is it to clean the bedroom, paint the kitchen, lose 50 pounds? It's like going to Canada, Zanzibar, Italy. That's your destination. You are here with all the baseline data we have right now in this journey, and you want to go here. You want to be successful and go here. Now we got to figure out what streets you might get stuck on in your GPS so we can get through all of these cities to get you where you need to go. Yeah, makes sense? As you guys are driving around on your snowmobile, clicking your heels, or taking a jet and a cruise ship. So what Rita wants to do is start here, click her heels, and just get there. What's the problem? Instead of wanting to do a goal, just going to get there. I have no idea what I need to do. Think about Sam's 10, right? How much time do you need, Rita, to go to your goal? I don't know. I just said I'm going to Italy. Are you going in December? I don't know. Are you going to save money? I don't know. Do you need clothes? I don't know. So see how you could get in trouble with that destination. And if you think about your Sam's 10, how much you need to be prepared. You know, are you going to give, 2 weeks notice? Are you leaving your job? Are you coming back? With Troy going to Canada, there's winter clothes involved. Like, are you going to pack up? Are you going to tell anyone you're going? He wants to go off the grid, right? Point is, all the way down through your Sam's 10, if you guys do not change who you were when we first met and change some of those habits, this date will come up and you won't achieve it because you didn't think what you need to take on your trip. You went ahead and got in your car, dialed in your GPS, and have no idea. You don't have a bag, you don't have any makeup, toiletries, nothing. So what's the first things that you're going to do? You can read that. We'll read that on our own. First thing that we're going to do is you figured out where you're going to go, and then this is your suitcase. All of these little compartments are the things that you need to get ready to pack to go. So if you have something that is 5 or below, we're going to use 5. Well, yeah, 5 instead of 4. If you need to improve something in emotion, I want you to write what you need to improve. Relationships, write what you need to improve. Doesn't mean you'll have every compartment of your suitcase that needs to be filled. Doesn't matter. You might have 2 things that you need to improve in order to get to your 6-month, say it's a 50-pound weight loss. You'll fill up your suitcase here, and then you will be able to finalize your itinerary. So this is just going to make sure you know where you're going, how you're going to get there, how long it's going to take, the resources that you need, what is truly your desire, whether it's concise. You're going to check off if you've done your Sam's 10 and it's reasonable and attainable. We're going to make sure that your circumference measurements are done, your weight is done, your strength tests are done so you can measure along the way. You've got your dirty dozens done in case you get bored. You've got an accountability team in each other. And that is your GPS. Troy, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I like it actually a lot. I like the combination of kind of everything that we've learned over the entire course and putting it all together and getting to that end goal.
Yeah.
Not an end goal, but the next goal.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of a fun way to look at it in a different way now that we've looked at it 83 million other ways, right? Faith, what are your thoughts as you look at the wellness GPS?
No, I like it. I had a situation right at the beginning of this docu-series where I was traveling to go camping and I had a blowout on the motorway. And I ended up being stuck for sort of 2 hours on the side of the road. And I didn't know if I'd got a spare tire that was okay. And it was just, I was sort of sat there and I thought, I need to be more prepared. And by sort of following all these steps, it gives you sort of the backbone. So you've considered everything and you don't end up in that situation.
Yeah. Rita, what are your thoughts?
At first it's like, wow, kind of mind blowing. But the good point is, I mean, that I like about it is, yes, we're going to be able to see how all this pulls together and the process again for setting our 6-month goal, 1-year goal, any other goals that we may have going forward.
Yeah. It's a very left brain process I take you guys through. I take you through As I'm going through the left brain process and giving you documents, I'm also trying to be very right brain and creative along the way. It's important as a coach to say, what do my clients who are left brain, right brain need? What do my clients who are visual and auditory, kinesthetic need? What do my words of affirmation clients and my acts of service clients need? You know, how am I going to deal with my dolphins and my bears? You know, so when you do group stuff like this, you really have to be able to course correct at any point in time and make everybody happy. But the bottom line is still the same. It's still falling back on that Sam's 10, no matter what your goal is. Troy's goal this week may be get groceries, do the laundry, and call my mom. It sounds so silly, but he may have to go right back to going, I'm sleeping 10 hours a day because I feel like shit, so I'm going to have to call my mom tomorrow morning because I don't have time today. It doesn't matter. But you guys won't get to your 6-month reunion when we meet in December if you don't do this left brain work. You just won't. Because I love creatives. I'm a very creative person, but hopes and dreams do not come true without actions. They just don't. Only thing that happens with hopes and dreams if you don't do anything is time passes. That's it. That's it. So this feels very left brain. It is very left brain. But what does the acronym SAM stand for? It takes a spark, that's the S, plus A, which is the actions, plus motivation, spark in the action gives you the motivation, equals the success. And it's got the 10 rules. So that, my loves, is where I take a bow. This week is a lot of work this week for commitments. I'm going to help you every single step of the way. I just want you to do the very best of your ability for us to finish strong. Even if you don't do everything as an A, at least try as a C. We will always have our site together, our private Facebook site, that even if in a year or two, I'm kidding, I'll be kicked off long before then. It will be open for you guys to entertain each other. But the point is that if something doesn't resonate with you right now, it may in a year. We'll always be there. But the commitments this week are tight, tough, but I'm going to help you every step of the way. When we get together next Sunday, it's a celebration time. It's a look back time. It's to get you set up for the very next morning when you wake up on your own and you party like a rock star. You cry, party, cry, party. All right, so this week, you're going to look at 10 recaps. It's like, whoa, what does that mean? For anybody listening, I do a recap after every single show. What have we talked about on the show? I summarize it all and I put it in their Facebook site. You guys are going to look at it, and the main thing that you're going to look at is what have I improved on, like at least 75% that I might embed, like what have I done a good job at? And then what's the one other thing from that particular week that I'm like, oh, I haven't even hit 50% on that, so I might need to do that. Next week, oh, I've nailed that 75 or more. Oh, that's a trouble. Next week. So we can create a new habit history for you and see what's improved or not improved for 10 weeks. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to do that. We're going to work on your GPS. We're going to work on it together. Figure out where you're going. Go through your Sam's 10, all that fun stuff. And it's time to collect your final body circumference measurements, your strength tests, all of those things we have to do, your final photos. Yeah, good times. Get out that tuxedo. Your final wheel, we're going to do that. And then I'm going to help you go back and look at your family history and habit stuff. We're going to look at all 4 of them. If you remember way back, nutrition, exercise, mindset, and social environment. And you're going to take a quick peek at those and go, oh my God, I'm getting rid of that. I'm never going to do that again. Or we're going to just take a couple of points, bullet points on those. So I'm going to guide you through that. And then the last thing, other than our focus words, Faith, I remembered again. You're going to write vows, just like wedding vows, and you're going to read them. The vows can be to yourself. The vows can include vows to each other. They can be to me. You know, I recommend that it could be something like this. Peggy, I vow to you to not give up, to consider food as fuel, to not restrict your calories. It can be a specific kind of line item like that, or it can be, you know, I am so proud of you. We are in this together. I'm committed to you, whatever, but you're going to write your vows and you're going to read it. All right, before we do our F words, how do you feel, Rita?
I feel good. I feel got a lot of work ahead of me this week, but not to fear because the coach is here.
I spilled everything. Did you hear that, everybody? Did you hear that in the parking lot? Attention, everybody. Attention, Kmart shoppers. That's awesome. Have no fear. Oh, that's really good. Yeah, it is going to be a busy week, but nobody, no judgment or anything. And you guys have done so much of the work. And that's one of the things, you know, even Troy, yeah, you had a rough week, but you know what we're not good at is going back, looking over our shoulder and going, you know what? We've done a lot of shit. You've done more, you guys, in 9 weeks than I put more at you guys in 9 weeks than any other group I've ever worked with. Seriously, I've thrown so many, I should say, not every, but so many of my tools at you, so rapid fire. I'm very, 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 very proud of you. So Troy, I'm exhausted. I want to lay on my couch, Troy. We should FaceTime and we should watch The Crown together. Yeah, so it's a lot. What are your thoughts, though, Troy, as we head into this week?
It is. It's overwhelming. But there's the aspect of being able to look back and see where, you know, where we started and where we're at now, and do take the positives. And even with the struggles, I mean, you still learn from the struggles, right? It's
absolutely,
it's one of those things. So yeah, I'm excited about doing this week. I really am.
Yeah. It really is like a graduation, you guys. And what does that mean? That really just means that you've done what was required, the time frame that was required. It's coming to a quote unquote end. And that's what you wanted. You achieved this. And then there is a new beginning. And with every end, there's a little bit of a mourning and some emotions that bubble. Just celebrate them. There's no judgment on them. You might feel lost. You might be excited. It doesn't matter what those are. It's what you do with them. And you know, it's just like with the wellness GPS. Once you get to that location, whatever that location is, our location next Sunday is we finished 10 weeks together, right? We finished our location. Now what do? We're in our mode of transportation and it's time to dial in the GPS again. Where are we going after that? As a group, collectively, we've made another commitment to graduate at a 6-month reunion right around Christmas time. So I will be guiding you on that path to get that done too. That's our next GPS, our location we're headed to. So yeah, you've done a fantastic job. Faith, what about you? What are your thoughts headed into this week?
I'm excited. There's a lot of information, a lot to review. It's one of the things I'm not as good at is going back and reviewing where I've sort of been. But I know the benefit of actually reviewing that and just sort of seeing how far you've come, because it's quite easy to dismiss that and only focus where you go into.
We just don't do that, you guys. We just keep plugging and plugging. And we have that attitude like that next thing is the answer. If I just did, the if-then statement, right? If I just got this job, then I would do this. Or if I saved this much money, then I would. And we don't look back and go, but my if and then statement, like I'm already here in about 40 of those if and then statements, and I'm still not happy or doing shit with it, right? So we just don't go back and go, wow. And we've really, all three of you guys know that you've really already met a lot of dreams. We just don't look at it that way. You've really already, and we have roofs over our head, foods in our mouth, clothes on our back. We have a lot to be grateful for to be here. Not everybody could be here as a group together. It's really amazing. I'm really proud of you. And now let's talk about our F words. All right, so we're going into the last 4 alphabetized letters we can choose for a focus word. Each week we pick a focus word that kind of can have everything, every aspect of our wheel, 24 spokes of our life. We can use this word to kind of focus on different things. This last week, let's see, Coach was unwavering. Oh boy, I needed to use that. Faith was visual, Rita was unafraid, and Troy was understanding. And you really had to put those worked for you guys this week. We've got WXYZ this week. Mine already is willpower. Where there's a Wilms, there's a way. Second t-shirt. What about you, Rita? What do you think you're going to use in the WXYZ range?
I'm going to go with W for wisdom and kind of just look back on our 9, 10 weeks that we've had and just look at the words of wisdom from everybody and just kind of carry that through, get me through the week.
That's a blessing. And having a group, you guys, you've learned a lot off of each other. I could work with Faith one-on-one and tell her I had this client. I never use other clients' names, but I have this other client, say Rita, who she didn't eat enough, or she wanted to get healthier for her granddaughter. And I'd have to tell stories, right? But in a group like this, you've seen it firsthand. You've felt it. They're real people. You connect with it. You've listened to his miles he's traveled, and you're like, oh, those were real miles. You know, you've seen him sit here and talk through keto and the changes he wanted to make, if at all, that diet. So I love that you said learn the wisdom from others. That's fantastic. All right, Faith, what have we got for you between the WXYZ?
I've gone for W, and I've chosen the word whole because I think it's easy to look at sort of one thing, but I think sort of especially the last week to look at everything as a whole, look at the bigger picture.
I thought you were going to choose whey for whey protein. This week, Faith was like, I just realized, getting better at my accent. I just realized that whey has lactose because it is dairy. Am I getting any better?
A little bit.
A little bit. So you have to put the emphasis on the middle of the words. Little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead, Troy. WXYZ.
I'm gonna go with W as well. W's across the board. Just work.
What's work feel like for you? What's that word feel? Does it feel hard, or does it feel keep fucking going?
That's pretty much it. Is just keep fucking going, keep working, keep work on your wellness, work on winning, work on just all of it.
I like that. When we work, we get rewarded. That's what, it takes effort to get rewards, whether it's monetary or health or whatever. Oh, you guys, you did a good job, Wellness GPS. So that's what you're doing. You're going to dial in this week. We're going to do some course corrections. We're going to look in our suitcases, see what we need, where we're headed, what's important, make sure we don't forget anything, and recognize, let's pretend we're going from New York to LA. We're all going from New York to LA. If Troy hopped on a snowmobile and I hopped in a Jeep and Faith took a jet and Rita clicked her heels, in all seriousness, if we were all going there, obviously with those modes of transportation, we would take a different amount of time to get there. And we could choose when we wanted to go. With Troy's snowmobile, he might say, my destination is LA, and let's pretend it was 25-pound weight loss, okay? I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna stop along the way, go to the campsite, hover, see how I did, enjoy my time, so that things embed. I will see you guys there, but it's going to take me a while. Faith might be like, I love it, you guys. I really busted my ass on this journey. For whatever reason, it kind of clicked. I have my stuff packed, and I'm going to kind of I think I'm going to be there like in 2 days. So I'll wait for you. I'll be there. And then with Rita might, because a very, very habitual person, she might say, hey, I've had my bags packed. I've been thinking about this for a super long time. I've wanted to go there for a long time. Again, let's pretend 25 pounds, LA was your destination. I am going to click my heels. Rita could be saying, I have my list. I have my wheel dialed in. I have my wellness logs dialed in. I've got everything taken care of in my Sam's 10. See you guys when you get there. That's what the Wellness GPS is all about. Make sense? See you in LA. I'll get there before Faith does. Actually, I may not. Hard to get out of here sometimes. All right, you guys, good job. See you next week. Toodaloo.
You've been
been watching Coach Peggy Real Time, a transformation coaching docuseries where each week the cast learns strategies and tools that help improve the quality of their life. And I hope at home you're trying some of the challenges and experiments as well. If you would like to be on upcoming cast for the next season, go ahead over to coachpeggyrt.com and find out some more information and apply. If you'd also like to be a part of our groups that are not public, you can find out that information there as well. Hop on over to Coach Peggy Facebook community and please share with us there your journey and see how the cast is doing each week. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you next week.